My wedding day was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but my mother-in-law was determined to stop it by claiming she had terminal cancer. We were at the altar when a surprise guest walked in, her actual doctor. You won't believe the chaos that erupted when he exposed her lies in front of everyone. Hey everyone! Welcome right back to Revenge Stories, the channel where real people share the moments that changed their lives forever. If you love stories about justice, truth, and payback, hit that subscribe button, because we post a brand new story every single day. My name is Sarah Collins, and this is the story of the day my wedding almost fell apart because of one woman's desperate lie, and how the truth saved everything I ever wanted. I met Daniel Whitmore 3 years before our wedding day, at a small coffee shop near my office in downtown Chicago. He was kind, patient, and steady in a way that made me feel safe. The kind of safe I had never really felt in any relationship before him. From the moment we started dating, I could tell his mother, Linda Whitmore, did not approve of me. She never said it directly, but I felt it in every tight smile, every backhanded comment about my job, my family, and even the way I dressed. She would casually mention girls Daniel had dated in college, always comparing me to someone who, in her eyes, was somehow better suited for her son. Daniel always told me not to worry, that his mother just needed time to warm up to me. I believed him because I wanted to believe him, and because I loved him enough to give her that time. Over the years, I tried everything to build a bond with Linda. I offered to help plan family dinners. I remembered her birthday every single year, and I never once spoke badly about her to Daniel, even when it would have been easy to. But no matter how hard I tried, there was always a wall between us that I could never quite break through. Daniel kept reassuring me that things would get better once we were officially married, that Linda simply needed to see how serious our commitment was. As the wedding got closer, Linda's behavior grew stranger. She started calling Daniel every day, crying about her health, saying she felt tired all the time and that something was wrong. Daniel, being the loving son he was, took her to doctor after doctor, but every test came back normal. Still, Linda insisted something was seriously wrong with her body. I tried to be supportive, but something about the timing felt off to me. Every time we made real progress on the wedding plans, Linda would suddenly have a new symptom. 3 weeks before the wedding, Linda called Daniel in tears. She told him she had just been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and that she might not survive much longer. Daniel was devastated. He wanted to cancel the wedding immediately, but I told him we would get through it together, whatever happened. Linda insisted the wedding should still go on, but she cried through every phone call, saying she just wanted to see her only son get married before she passed away. Looking back now, I realize how carefully she planned every single word. On the morning of the wedding, Linda arrived looking pale and weak, wrapped in a blanket despite the warm weather. She walked slowly down the aisle to her seat, leaning on a cane she had never used before. Guests whispered with sympathy as she wiped tears from her eyes. Daniel kept glancing at her throughout the ceremony, his face full of worrying instead of joy. I remember standing at the altar, watching the man I loved struggle to be present for our own wedding because his mother had convinced him she was dying. Then, right after the officiant asked if anyone objected to our marriage, Linda slowly stood up, clutching her chest. She announced through fake tears that this stress was too much for her weak heart and that she feared this day might be her last. The entire room gasped. My own mother reached for my hand. I felt my whole body go cold, watching my wedding turn into a performance orchestrated by a woman who never wanted me to marry her son. But before Daniel could rush to her side, the back doors of the venue opened. A man in a gray suit walked in with quick, confident steps. He introduced himself as Dr. Michael Reyes, and he said he needed to speak immediately because he had information everyone deserved to hear. The room went silent. Linda's face turned white. Dr. Reyes explained that he was Linda's actual physician, the one who had run every test he claimed showed cancer. He said that just an hour earlier, Linda's sister had called his office in a panic, saying Linda planned to fake a medical emergency to stop the wedding. Dr. Reyes said he could not, in good conscience, Let a family be destroyed by a lie, especially when his own name and reputation were being used to support it. He held up Linda's actual medical file for everyone to see. Every test, every scan, every blood panel came back completely normal. There was no cancer. There was no heart condition. There was nothing wrong with Linda Whitmore except a desperate desire to keep her son from marrying someone she never approved of. Gasps turned into stunned silence, then into quiet outrage. Daniel turned to his mother, his face shifting from concern to disbelief. He asked her, right there in front of everyone, if it was true. Linda tried to deny it at first, insisting the doctor was confused. But Dr. Reyes calmly pulled at her signed medical records and read the results aloud. There was no room left for denial. Linda finally broke down, not from fake tears this time, but from real shame. She admitted she had lied because she believed I was not good enough for her son, and she thought a fake illness was the only way to stop the wedding without losing Daniel's love completely. She said she planned to reveal the truth quietly after we called things off, so she could comfort Daniel through his heartbreak. She never expected her own doctor to walk into the middle of her plan. I stood there at the altar, shaking, but strangely calm. I looked at Daniel, and for the first time all day, he looked directly at me instead of his mother. He apologized for every doubt, every delay, every moment he had let guilt cloud his judgment. Then he asked me the only question that mattered. He asked if I still wanted to marry him, right then and there. In front of everyone who had just witnessed his mother's lie unravel, I said yes. Linda was asked to leave the venue by her own family, including her sister who had exposed the plan in the first place. As she walked out, guests who had once smiled politely at her now looked at her with quiet disappointment. Daniel did not run after her. Instead, he took my hands, and we finished our wedding ceremony exactly as planned, surrounded by people who loved us for who we truly were that night. As I danced with my new husband, I realized something important. The truth always finds its way to the surface, even when someone works incredibly hard to bury it. Linda spent weeks building an elaborate lie, but one honest person, a doctor with real integrity, was all it took to bring the entire story crashing down. In the months that followed, Daniel and Linda slowly began speaking again, but their relationship was never the same. She apologized many times, and I forgave her, because holding on to anger would have only hurt my own marriage. But trust, once broken that deeply, takes years to rebuild, if it can be rebuilt at all. Looking back, I often wonder what would have happened if Dr. Reyes had not walked through those doors. Would I have canceled my own wedding out of guilt? Would Daniel have spent years believing his mother was dying, all because of one desperate lie? It scares me to think about how close we came to losing everything over something that was never even real. This experience taught me that real love does not need manipulation to survive. And real family does not need lies to stay close. If someone truly loves you, they will support your happiness instead of standing in the way of it. Sometimes the people meant to protect us are the ones who test us the most, and how we respond to that test defines the life we build afterward. Today, Daniel and I are stronger than ever. We chose honesty over fear, and truth over comfortable silence, and that choice saved our marriage before it even began. Every difficult moment we survived together became a foundation for the life we now share. We recently celebrated our second wedding anniversary, and every year that passes reminds me how grateful I am that a stranger named Dr. Reyes cared enough about honesty to walk through those doors that day. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, even the painful moments that feel unbearable at the time. If Linda's plan had succeeded, I might have spent years wondering what really happened, doubting myself, and doubting the love Daniel and I had built together. Instead, the truth gave us the strongest possible start to our marriage, because we faced our biggest challenge before we even said our vows, and we came out of it closer than ever. So let me ask you this. Have you ever discovered a lie that someone told just to control your life or your happiness? What would you have done if you were standing at that altar, watching the truth unfold in front of everyone you loved? Share your thoughts and your own experience in the comments below, because I would genuinely love to hear your story and how you handled it. If this story moved you, remember that real strength often comes from standing firm in the truth, even when it feels impossible. Every challenge we face can become the beginning of a new success story if we choose honesty over fear. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to Revenge Stories, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story.